Today we will share with you 7 times people woke up at their funeral caught on camera. So stay tuned till the end and let's get right into it. Number 7. The frozen girl woke up to life.
More than 40 years ago, a woman in the northwest corner of Minnesota made a remarkable recovery after literally being frozen solid.
On the night of December 20, 1980, 19-year-old Jean Hilliard's car hit the ditch. She tried to walk for help. She was found in the morning in the front yard of a local cattle rancher, frozen solid as a log. Well, that's not the miracle part. The reason this story is still circulating online happened about 10 minutes from Lyngby at the Foston Hospital, where Hilliard thawed out and woke up. When she was brought into the hospital, doctors did not have high hopes for Hilliard. They couldn't even get an IV into her frozen arm. They kept breaking needles. They figured she was mostly dead already, but decided to warm her up anyway with heating pads. David Plummer, professor of emergency medicine at the University of Minnesota, says this kind of thing happens occasionally. Their blood flow slows way down, and their body requires less oxygen. It's a form of hibernation. If their blood flow increases at the same rate as their body warms up, they can often recover. Number 6. A vengeful ghost. Noella Rukundo sat in a car outside her home in Melbourne, Australia, watching as the last few mourners filed out. They were leaving a funeral, her funeral. Finally, she spotted the man she'd been waiting for. She stepped out of her car, and her husband put his hands on his head in horror. She recalled him saying, "Is it my eyes? Is it a ghost?" And she replied, "Surprise, I'm still alive." Far from being elated, the man looked terrified. 5 days earlier, he had ordered a team of hitmen to kill Rukundo, his partner of 10 years. And they did. Well, they told him they did. They even got him to pay an extra few $1,000s for carrying out the crime. Now here was his wife, standing before him. In an interview with the BBC, Rukundo recalled how he touched her shoulder to find it unnervingly solid. He jumped. Then he started screaming. He wailed, "I'm sorry for everything," but it was far too late for apologies. Rukundo called the police. The husband, Balenga Kalala, ultimately pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 9 years in prison for incitement to murder. Number 5. Dead man wakes up under autopsy knife. A Venezuelan man who had been declared dead woke up in the morgue in excruciating pain after medical examiners began their autopsy. Carlos Camejo was declared dead after a highway accident in 2007 and taken to the morgue, where examiners began an autopsy, only to realize something was amiss when he started bleeding. They quickly sought to stitch up the incision on his face. Camejo said, "I woke up because the pain was unbearable." His grieving wife turned up at the morgue to identify her husband's body, only to find he moved into a corridor, and alive. Wait, before we move on, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to share your love and support by giving it a big thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated of our future uploads. Now, without any further ado, let's get back to our video. Number 4. Chinese man stages his own funeral just to see how many people would turn up.
Hello? 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 Let me out!
Zhang Deyang arranged the mock ceremony in the city of Rizhao in Shandong province to get a feel for who might turn up when he actually kicks the bucket. The 66-year-old was seen crawling into a fake grave as amused attendees looked on. The fun-loving pensioner looked chuffed to bits as pretend mourners bowed their heads in prayer at his feet, while he sat dressed in traditional Chinese burial clothes next to a table of refreshments. He invited about 50 family members, but only 20 went, according to media reports. However, his visitors' numbers were boosted by hundreds of people from neighboring villages. Reaction from local villagers was divided. Mr. Zhang never married or had kids, and had done many good deeds that didn't grab much attention in the community, leading him to spend 16,000 yuan, 1,700 pounds, on a mock funeral. Number 3. Dead man turns up at his own funeral in Brazil.
When I walked through the door and I saw the coffin, I was a bit flabbergasted. I asked, "What is this?"
If there's one surefire way to make sure your funeral is remembered, it's turning up at it alive. That, at least, was the experience of Gilberto Araujo, a 41-year-old car washer from Brazil, whose unexpected arrival at his own wake reportedly sparked terror and then delight among his family and friends. Araujo's family, from the town of Alagoinhas, about 70 miles from Salvador, had mistakenly identified a body in the local morgue as his and were mourning his death on Sunday night, when the man they believed was in the coffin beside them showed up at the front door. He said, "A friend told me there was a coffin and that I was inside it. I said, 'Guys, I'm alive. Pinch me.'" His appearance prompted some people to faint and others to flee in panic. His mother, Maria Menezes, a shopkeeper, said, "It was a fright. I'm very happy because what mother has a son that they say is dead then turns up alive?" The mix-up is reported to have stemmed from the fact that another car washer in the town, who closely resembled Araujo, was murdered at the weekend, and the police called Araujo's brother, Jose Marcos, to tell them they believed his brother was the dead man. Number 2. 3-year-old woke up from dead only to be pronounced dead again.
After a 3-year-old wakes up at her own funeral. This happened in Mexico. Camila Roxana Martinez.
A 3-year-old Mexican girl woke up at her funeral after doctors declared her dead the day before. But the joy of the parents did not last long, as attempts to save the little girl Camila Roxana Martinez Mendoza failed, and her death was officially announced again. The girl's mother said the doctors took a long time to connect her to the oxygen supply when they came in with an ambulance. After they succeeded, they took me out of the room, she added, and Camila was later announced to have died of dehydration. The next day, a funeral was held for the child, but her mother noticed a mist on the glass coffin, and those present told her she was imagining it, and discouraged from opening the coffin. As Camilla's grandmother was taking a closer look at the body, she noticed Camilla's eyes were moving and discovered she had a pulse. Camilla was taken by ambulance to Salinas Hospital, where doctors unsuccessfully tried to revive her and declared her dead again, this time from cerebral edema and nutritional failure. Number 1. Woman pronounced dead knocks on coffin. The 76-year-old in Ecuador astonished her family when she was found to be alive after knocking on her coffin during her wake. Friends and family had gathered in Ecuador to mourn the loss of 76-year-old Bella Montoya in June of this year, when they started to hear strange sounds coming from the coffin. Montoya, a retired nurse, had been taken to a local hospital after suffering an apparent heart attack and stroke. When she didn't respond to resuscitation efforts, doctors pronounced her dead and presented the family with identity documents and a death certificate. The family then moved forward with funeral plans, but were astonished when they started hearing knocking sounds coming from inside Montoya's coffin during her wake. Upon further investigation, the woman was found alive inside, gasping for air. The family quickly rushed Montoya back to the hospital, where she remained in intensive care, Ecuador's health ministry said in a statement. Barbara said his mother was under intubation and doctors hadn't given the family much confidence about her prognosis. The instances where people unexpectedly woke up at their own funerals, caught on camera, offer profound insights into the mysteries of life and the complexity of death. These remarkable events, ranging from medical misdiagnoses to unexplained resurrections, challenge our understanding of human mortality and ignite discussions about the accuracy of medical determinations. While each case is unique, they all share a common thread of hope, resilience, and the remarkable ability of the human spirit to defy the odds. So that's all for today's video, and until next time, goodbye!